Well, welcome, and I think one or two people might walk in, but we'll get started. I'm Glenn Musser, and I have a program tonight on working with your digital photos using Google Photos. And Google Photos is a fairly new tool that they just released, service that Google just released about maybe 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago. It's very new. It's pretty functional when it came out. They added a few features. We used we're looking at the program this morning, and a few of the people in the group were saying why it doesn't do this and why it doesn't do that. And my take on Google Photos is this is meant for the 99%. The 1%, the folks with the $3,000 digital SLR camera and use Photoshop and all those fancy tools, they don't really need this. They could use this, but most people take pictures with their smartphone, Android or iPhone, doesn't make a difference with this, or they take pictures with, with a little, I have a fairly nice camera, but it's not one of those multi-$1,000 ones, a couple hundred. Or, they call these smaller cameras point and shoot cameras. And that's what most people are using. A couple $100 gets you a really nice camera nowadays. It takes wonderful pictures. But the problem is, what do we do with these things once we have them? How do we share them, manage them, keep track of them, whatever, and preserve them, back them up so that they don't go away. Get a new computer dies, get a new computer, then what happens? That's what I talk about. The beginning for the program is at the Phoenixville Tech Group, PhoenixvilleTG.com. That gets you to this page. And for a few days, the link for our program will be here on the front page, but after a week or two, this is kind of my calendar, so it will float away. If you come to the Phoenixville Tech Group and then you click on the Programs tab here, this will always be here, so you can refer back to this program. You won't really take many notes. I have most of the notes for you here, and if you look on this Programs page, down near the bottom is digital photography, and Google Photos, manage your digital photos. That is the outline for the program we're going to do tonight. And I'm going to go through this, point out some of the highlights. Again, you can get to this anytime you want. I have a print version. Some of the folks in my generation, you guys are all too young, like to print these things out. So I made it so you can print the 5 pages, which is what's here. The beautiful thing about using the online version is if you click on the colored text, that takes you someplace. So you lose that when you're reading the text. But you might want to look through this. I'm going to go through this. You'll find that I do have some of the help files that Google had pulled out, the ones that are really important getting you started. And a lot of these links take you to the many pages of Google Help. So this is a good resource to keep, and okay, now I'm going to do this after Christmas. Where was that? Where was that app? So again, PhoenixvilleTG.com, and click on the programs link, and you will find it on that page. And this will stay here. The only thing that will happen, I may modify it, refresh it as I do another, when I do another program in the spring. I'll probably, if things change, I'll make minor changes to it.
Was that Phoenixville Tech G?
It's PhoenixvilleTG for techgroup.com, and that'll get you to the TG. I didn't want to spell the whole thing out when I registered the name. It's too much to type, so just made Tech Group be TG. I invite you to read through this. I'm going to just go through this and outline it. I'm going to spend most of my time actually in the software so you can see how it works. I'm going to take some pictures, see how they magically end up there, that sort of thing. The idea of this, what makes this software important is it does 5 things that most people want to or need to do. I think that maybe this isn't the most important to you, but I put it at the top of the list, and this is backing up your stuff. If you take your pictures with this smartphone and don't back them up, don't get the pictures off of this device somehow, when you drop this thing in the storm drain outside, your photos are all gone that you've taken for 2 or 3 years on this thing. And then, goodness knows, it'll die someday of natural causes, or maybe it doesn't die, you get a new one, but how do I get those pictures that I've been taking? Lots of people have all their pictures living on this thing, or they take the pictures with their camera and all their pictures are on the camera in this card. You know, they turn the camera on and show the pictures to folks. We want to back them up, which means make a copy somewhere else that hopefully can't go away, and also organize them. How in the world do you find the picture of Grandma from the picnic in 2004? Pretty difficult if you don't have some system. Google does all of this for us. Edit the pictures, the simple stuff. Again, if you're a professional, you're going to have Photoshop or even the free Picasa. I use it. It's a great program. I've done a program on using Picasa. When I did that program, it's 3 one-hour sessions, and then we have to rush to get through because it's very complicated and very few people use that. Most people take the pictures, they just want to look at them, want to find them. But you can do the basic editing, crop them a little bit. If it's upside down, you can turn it around, that sort of thing. Fix red eye and those kind of basic things. This does let you do some creation, making movies out of your stills. You know, put a bunch of stills together and have it do a nice blended little 2-minute movie. Make collages, make slideshows. Kind of slideshows are, they call them slideshows, but we call them albums. In other words, I went to, and I'll show you some pictures. We went to the Longwood Gardens I guess it was 2 Sundays ago, and I took a couple hundred pictures. I always go crazy, taking all these pictures of flowers and stuff. And, well, I keep all the pictures that are in focus and look okay, but you don't want to see 200 or 300 pictures, so I can go through and pick what, 15 or so that look good and make an album, share that with folks easily. So, creating and sharing. How do you get started? There are, if you want to do, I can slide to the top. If you have your photos on your computer, this is a Mac or a Windows computer, desktop, laptop, doesn't make any difference. If you stored your photos on your computer, you need a way to get them from your computer into the Google Photos. Google Photos is a cloud storage location attached to a Google account, a Gmail account. You don't have to use Gmail. You can be on Yahoo or Amazon or AOL or one of those, but you do have to create a Gmail account in order to use Google Photos. I would suggest you convert to Gmail at some point. It's the best email program out there. And if you come to one of our tech groups, help you do that if you want to. But you can just sign up for a Gmail account. Don't use it for anything except you do have to have that to attach the Google Photos to. So you don't have to use it as your email, but you do have to have one. Once you have that Gmail, in other words, I have this is my Gmail box I'm looking at here. You have to have that available. And that is, you just sign up and in 5 minutes you have it. But in order to get the pictures from the computer, I said this came out about 4 months ago. I've been taking photos, took photos with a camera, a film camera, starting in like 1963 or 4 that I had. I did photography in junior high and high school, but unfortunately don't have any of those pictures. Did not save one, took hundreds of pictures, don't have any of those black and white pictures. I had a dark room and all that stuff, crazy. You know, but I didn't care when I was 17. I took pictures, I printed them, whatever, I was done. Anyways, well, at the time I got married, started having kids, we started, you know, dealing with pictures, but they were slides or still pictures. I by and by converted them to digital. So I have pictures from the mid-60s on up, and about 2000 I got my first digital camera. So as a consequence, on my computer, I have about 75,000 images. So a lot. And I have them pretty well organized on my computer, but they're just on this computer. I did back them up onto external hard, all that stuff that we all do, because don't want to lose these. But Google Photos has made this whole process it's just changed the way I do it. In order to get those 75,000 pictures from this computer up into the cloud, that's where the Google Photos live, you know, on the internet, in this Gmail attached to my Google account. They have a tool, and this is the link for it. It's called a desktop uploader. If you just click on that, this takes you to Photos, Google.com, apps, and there are 3 links here. One is for links getting programs for your Android device, one for iPhone and iPad, and then there is the desktop uploader. And if you're on the computer that you want to do this with, you simply click that, and you can see that the little program is downloading here. So it's that easy. When this program finishes downloading, I already have it installed, I don't have to do this. But when this finishes downloading, I just double click that, run it, and say okay a couple of times, and it's installed. I will show you some of the screens that pop up. If you have a Mac, this will download the appropriate tool for the Macintosh. If you log into this and click this when you're in a Mac, it will know that it's a Mac and get the appropriate tool to use on a Macintosh. Once that's installed on your computer, this is a Windows computer, down here on the bottom, the toolbar across the bottom, this is where your clock is and stuff, you will find this little pinwheel. That is the logo for the Google Photos, the pinwheel, colored pinwheel. It may be on this toolbar, or it might be in this upward pointing symbol that has all the other applications that are running on your computer. I have a lot. You typically will only have 2 or 3 in this list. I have mine, I've just dragged it to this. I can drag it and put it in here, and then it's in that window. I can put it out here I put it out here conveniently, so it's handy for tonight. I don't have to open that up to show it to you. But this little icon will appear, and when it first loads, if I click it, and up comes a little window that lets me do things like pause the backup and those sort of things. But there's a settings choice. When you install this program, when you click and run it, the first thing it does, you don't have to go down and find this screen pops up, this exact screen, and it will be pre-populated with back up my photos, back up my documents, back up my desktop typically. I added a couple of special locations where I store photos that are different than the norm. So you can make different locations, but most of us, if you're not doing anything special, your photos are in the My Photos folder. And this automatically adds that to this list. So you really don't, if you have your photos in the My Photos in a Windows computer, the normal place they go, unless you were doing something special, and you would know if you did that, this will automatically do it. There are check boxes here for camera storage cards. You can check these boxes or not. I have them checked right now because I want to show you this. The photo size, this is pre-selected to high quality. What makes Google Photos unique among all the photo storage places. If you have an iPhone, you can have iPhoto. They have a place to store photos online. They give you 5 gigabytes of storage. This is unlimited. There is no limit. To give you an idea, my 70,000 photos is 130 gigabytes. So if I were on iPhotos, I would have filled that up, had to buy more space. Hi, come on, have a seat up here.
Oh, I'm okay, really.
Okay, that's fine. So you want to check, have this checked, high quality, free storage. If you were a professional, this does compress the photos ever so slightly if you take them with a high quality camera. They store them at 16 megapixels. Most of us don't have. This is a 12 megapixel camera. It's a pretty good camera. It takes them at 12. So it doesn't compress those. The little point and shoots are usually 10 or 12 megapixels. My phone takes 13 megapixel, a million pixels. You know, they do the math, horizontal or vertical dots. And so if it's over 16, this does some squishing. You can use the original size, click that box if you're a professional, and then you have to buy, you'll quickly fill up your space. You can buy space, then it's not free, but you would be, if you were a professional, you might want to do that, still a good deal, good place to store your stuff.
What is the max size for free for the original?
In the original, they give you 15, if you create a Google account, you get 15 gigabytes of storage, and that's used for your email messages and everything. Email message, from the whole Google thing. I've been using Google email for going on 12 years now, and I don't throw any emails away. I put them all in archive. I keep them all. I have 40 or 50,000. I've only used 3 or 4 gigabytes for email. So email doesn't take much space. It's photos that will really quickly use the space, or videos.
Glenn, can I ask,
Yes.
if I downloaded Picasa and I got photos of Picasa?
I'll come to that.
Okay.
So this is the tool. We turned it on, and when you say okay, you're finished. Now, I told you I had 70-some thousand photos on here. I set my computer not to go to sleep. I left it plugged in. And I paid attention. I did this, again, 3 or 4 months ago when this was released. It took about 3.5 days and nights to get all my photos uploaded. I could still use the computer. It was a little slower when I was doing my email because it's working all the time doing photos. And if you have your computer set to go to sleep after an hour, then it would suspend, and the next time you start up, so then it might take 2 months to do it. But it's a good idea if you have but most people have a few thousand photos. It'll do that in a couple of hours, and it's not a big deal. But if you have a huge amount of photos, you may want to not have the computer go to sleep, leave it plugged in, and that way in a couple of days, it tells you how far along it is. I've got 45,000 left to go. You look and get up in the morning and I'm down to 38,000 left to go. That's the kind of thing I was seeing. But when you put 100 photos on, in 10 minutes they're all uploaded. So assuming you have most of us have fast connections, Verizon, Comcast, one of those things. This wouldn't work very well on a dial-up the way we had 10 years ago. Would not be very practical. So we have the tool installed. This Google Photos, and you can always find the pinwheel, and this will be telling you it's backing up. In other words, I have 20 more to go. I have 10 more to go if you put 100 pictures on. But you don't have to pay attention, it's just there. The one way to really know what's happening, if you put some photos on, well, I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then we'll jump back to using the tablet here, or my phone or tablet. This is what Google Photos looks like. This is the application. I got to this, I'm going to close it. I went to my Gmail, my Google inbox. If you have to have an account, you log in. When you're in your Gmail, there are many ways to go, but up in the upper right-hand corner of Gmail, I call this the waffle. It looks like 9 little dots here. If you hover, it says Google Apps. When you click on it, it exposes these built-in, you can't take these away, you can't add to them. These are the built-in things that come as part of the Google account. And somewhere on this, in this list will be the pinwheel, the photos. It's there whether you installed Google Photos or not. If you just have a Gmail account and click this and never put any photos, it will say, oh, I'm sad, I don't see any photos. You haven't put anything here yet. This pinwheel, by the way, you can rearrange these. I can drag this in any position I want, you know, so I can put it wherever I want. I just simply click on it. It opens a new tab. I'm using Chrome browser, but this works in Safari, and people use, what is it, Safari, Internet Explorer, Firefox. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of browser you use. The way it presents your photos, the newest photo you've taken is at the top of the list. That's the way it always shows them. And it says, today, here's yesterday, as a matter of fact. It took some sunsets. November the 20th, it's that way. I can grab over here on the side, grab my drag bar, and pull this down. And you see I'm going back through time. 2007, 2006, 2002. I gotta wait a little while for the internet to catch up. I'm now back in, let me find some time in it. Here's June 2002. We had an RV in those days and took some trips out west. And here are pictures from that trip. These are just give me thumbnails. I can simply click on one of these photos and bring it up. Now, my camera wasn't so good in those days. This was in the early days of digital cameras, not quite as good as my photos I take now. I mean, only about 10% of the pixels on that as I have now. And I can
It's good to me.
I can just page through these photos. Whatever they are. Some were little thumbnails here I had. So that's one way of doing this, is to just look at the photo. I'm going to get back to modern times here. So this is a pretty nice way to scroll through. When it opens up, it opens in this photos view. You can see up here. If I click the little 3 slashes, the main menu, I have a number of choices, and there's all kinds of things here. I'm not going to go into all of these, but we have collections. This is really the magic of Google Photos.
Is that like folders?
It's albums
Albums.
and other things. I'll go into it here. I click on collections, and these again are ordered with the newest first. The things you just did are at the top of the list. And you'll notice I have quite a few collections here. And they go back in time, back into 2006, I'm back here in 2000, and on it goes. And I can go down through. But when I find one of these collections, I did not create these. I uploaded the photos. One of the important things for taking digital pictures, make sure your camera date is set correctly. You don't want the date to be 1982 or something that comes out of the box. You want to have the date set to the correct time, the correct date for sure, and it's good to have the right time, because this presents all the photos by date. I went to Fort Myers Beach, and it put this album together. Here it is. It's showing those pictures. Probably there was 100 pictures. These are the better ones. You can make these albums yourself, but most of the albums you're going to see, I did not create. I'll show you how you create an album. When I click on this, now it lets me play through this as a slideshow. I can, as a matter of fact, choose, where it? That's right, I don't do that way. I just page through it. So I have, this is a grouping of the pictures for that particular thing. We call it an album. Google calls it an album. I'm gonna get the more modern ones at the top of the list. Again, just went to Longwood. In collections, when I chose collections, when I click this, it's in the all collections mode. That's where we are now. But I have just albums, and it'll load only the things that are albums. I have a thing called movies. These are, doesn't matter if you take movies and upload them, it just, they're there also. These are basically videos, if you will, stored with Google Photos is videos too. And what's really interesting are stories. On this list, I've created one or two of these stories myself, but almost all of these, way back 8 or 10 years ago, were created by the Google robots. And it just created this one that I put pictures on that we went to Longwood Gardens on November, I'm looking here at the date, November 15th, about 2 Sundays ago. Took a whole bunch of pictures. I had them on my camera. I did not upload them to the computer this afternoon. I had some time, so I did. I put them on the computer. I just put the pictures on the computer. I used Picasa to get the pictures off of my card. Where's my memory card here? I took my memory card, put it into my computer, and I used, those of you who know, Picasa is a photo manager. I used it to put them on the computer. And I could edit them if I wanted to, and I used to do all of that. I don't think I'm gonna be doing a whole lot of editing in Picasa. I'm too lazy. So I put these pictures from our trip to Longwood on the computer, and I just got an email, I did that this afternoon. It takes a little while for the robot to think about it out there, the Google Cloud. I got an email saying, we made a new story, and you've got to accept this. It shows that it's there, and say, oh yeah, put that on my list, and I did. And here it is, called A Sunday Afternoon in Kennett Square.
Did they come up with that title?
Yes, I simply put the pictures, just dumped them into my computer and let it be uploaded with that uploader. That's all I did. I didn't actively upload them. I just put the pictures on the computer, the uploader uploaded them. It made this thing saying Sunday Afternoon in Kennett Square, November 15th, a story by Glenn Musser.
How did they know it was Kennett Square?
All those trips that I made out west to various parks, it knows it's Zion National Park. I think the same as the face recognition, it knows what Longwood Gardens looks like. Thousands and thousands of people post pictures and tag them. I take pictures with this camera, and they're mixed in here, by the way. This thing has a GPS. It knows where these pictures are, and if I took some pictures with this at Longwood Gardens and took some pictures with this at Longwood Gardens, one at 1 o'clock and then one at 1:15, obviously I'm still at that same place. And then at 2 o'clock I took one. Very smart algorithm. I'm going to play this story, I click the little greater than symbol, and it takes me over here. Look, shows me a map. Went from my house down to Kennett Square, kind of the way that always does this. Tells me it's at Kennett Square, and now I continue on. And it's basically a little collage that's put together. It did the Longwood Gardens and put their address in. I did not do that. I did type in, there was a space, I typed in Mum Festival here. I'll show you, I left one untitled, there's a place. By the way, you see, we'll get into what's happening here, these pictures that are moving around, that are animated. They are, it all depends on how I these photos, I took 5 or 6 photos of the same thing. Click, 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 click. It says, oh, it's all the same thing. I'll just put those 5 or 6 together and play them as a little slideshow. That was created again by Google Photos. Didn't do anything to make that happen. It also makes, here's one. I got this. It was called Stylized. If I click this, I can bring it to full size. They just made it, the yellows outside jump and did some stuff to make this kind of dreamy. This was a real, I have the original photo. It's a nice photo, but it doesn't look anything like this. They do that to every once in a while to a few of the photos. So it just kind of adds some texture to what you're doing. A really, really nice thing to use. What's nice about this is I have this story, works the same with albums. When I open it up, I have this little icon at the top, and this is the, you can see that, right? It does show for you. It's the one dot out going out to 2. This is the universal share symbol, is what you'll find this all through the internet. And when I click this, it says I can put this on Google+, on Facebook, and on Twitter. I have a Facebook account. I simply click this. I think I'll log into my Facebook account, not my wife's. She'll be a little upset. And once I've logged in, it stays. And this is okay, I type a little, I can't type. You know what, I need to turn off caps. I don't want to be shouting. And if I could spell, I would be all right. I type. I simply say place on Facebook. I could type 2 paragraphs of text, whatever. If I go to my Facebook account, I'm not a real big Facebook user, but if I go to my Facebook account, I saw it momentarily. Facebook is such a crappy tool. I don't really like it very much, but everybody does seem to use it. There it is. There is that was posted. That's simply to Facebook. And if somebody clicks this, they get to see this. It pulls up this link, and they can play through it, of course. Now, most of the time, when I do this, I don't put up these stories. I put up albums, and it's just a slideshow of 15 or 20 photos. And we'll get into how we do that. So that is sharing the photos. It is basically that simple. Another thing I can do, I'm back to this, is if I click that link, besides Google+, Facebook, and Twitter, it says get a shareable link. This is what I often do, is click this, and it makes one of these magic, weird internet address, HTTPS, Google photo, and then it's just a random bunch of stuff. If I copy that, if I right-click and do copy, all right? When I open up my email and want to send this to someone an email, I simply paste that link in, and that link, if I email this to, I'll email it to myself. All right? And I could write a whole note here, hey, this is our trip, guys, and send this to my family, friends, whatever. Just an email message. Very, very simple. I'm going to send it. And if I look at my inbox, as soon as it takes it, I have my sending being waits 5 seconds here, so that's why it doesn't happen instantly. And our internet is not have to come back to this. It'll be here by and by. One more try. I'll come back in a minute and look. So those are ways to share these stories or albums. Again, if I go to albums, these are simply, this isn't a story, this is just an album, which is just a collection of these photos. Have the same share function up here, but that will just send these pictures that play as a slideshow, if you will, when on Facebook, or send it to someone's email. Just play around with this, you get the hang of how that works. But it makes that act of sending somebody 20 or 30 pictures very simple. They don't get an email with a whole bunch of pictures attached. They just get this simple link, they click it, and it loads it for them, and they can play through the slideshow. If I go back, my email should be here by now. I don't know why it's being so slow. Always happens when I want to try to show how it works. It never does. Okay. I'm going to go back. I'm going to leave the albums and go back to the photos area where I'm seeing my individual photos. Now I'm going to scroll down here a little bit and get to something I don't matter. I have a lot of these pictures of this particular flower. If I want to edit this photo, let me go find one that has some people in it. Maybe I have one with Barbara here. Barbara's looking at the flowers here. So, I want to edit this photo. I clicked it, it pulls it into focus, into the foreground. I have some choices up here. Again, my share, I can share this single photo with somebody. This is, I just want to send one photo. I could click this and put it on Facebook or get the link to email it. I have the information, and this tells me when it was taken, what size it is, that sort of information, what camera took it. I took it with this Nexus 6P camera. It tells me the shutter speed and all that geeky stuff if you care. And as a matter of fact, since this is a smartphone with a GPS in it, it literally shows the map here of where I took it. I was in one of the greenhouses, what do you call them, the conservatories. I never can remember that word. But this is, it shows you right where I was, I mean, literally on the spot. So pretty cool when you have that information. Now I gotta go back to it.
That's especially when you don't remember the name of the
Yeah.
place.
I got myself out of this. I probably have to, oh, here I am, I'm back. But what I wanted to show you was the little pencil icon is edit. When I click it, then again, this is very simple editing. There's not a lot you can do. You can do much more in Picasa. It has a lot more tools. If you need to do some really exotic stuff, Picasa is what you want.
So you can go back and forth while you have it here, or you have to do it first?
You have to do it first. Or you could pull the picture down and then re-upload it. But if you really want to change them in Picasa or using one of those tools, you probably ought to do them before you upload them. But again, I think that this is the tool that 95% of the people want to use, and they're not going to be editing their photos in a fancy editor, even like Picasa or Lightroom. But I might want to do a little adjusting of the brightness. I can do that, the basic stuff. Adjust the color tint, how, this is actually how, how much color I have. This is called pop. It makes the colors just jump out. And vignette lets you put, kind of pull in the corners. Again, very simple little tools that you have. We do have some filters. I'm in this location up across the top. I have some color filters, and I can turn that one on or this one, and you can play around. You might want to use some of these. what you might want to do is make this a black and white photo. That is, you know, easily done. So that's what the filters let you do. And then the last tool over here is the one that I use most, because I take perfect photos, I don't have to adjust them. Except I don't have them all cropped just perfectly. This tool lets me do basically 3 things. One, if you're taking a picture of the sunset at the beach and kind of got so caught up in the sunset and didn't hold the camera straight, that the ocean is tilted, kind of looks weird. This has the straightening tool, so I can tip the picture and put it the way I want it. I think I did a pretty good job of keeping the camera straight, so I don't have to adjust this. But if I move it a little bit, that's the way I save it. The other thing is this little guy lets me flip it 90 degrees each time I click it. So I can, if I have a picture that occasionally have one that's upside down, this lets you fix that without doing any messing around, just fix it. And then the cropping tool is right here. You just grab a corner and pull down, grab another corner and pull it up, and maybe like so. And then there is a check box, or a check mark. I click the check, when I'm finished doing all the adjustments, I click the check mark. It shows me what it's going to be like. All the changes I made, I click save. And now this process takes a few seconds, and that picture is now saved. It turns out, I just learned this morning when I was doing this, this saves this picture, but the original is still there. So you haven't really destroyed your original. It's actually still in the, if you go look, it'll be right next to this picture. There'll be 2 of them. So if you're making a slideshow, you want to pick the one that's edited, not the original, when you would put that together. So this is the basic built-in editing tools, and I think they're sufficient for most of the things that we want to do. Again, got something that's upside down, a little bit crooked horizon, you can fix those sort of things. And the brightness and those sort of things. Or sometimes making a picture black and white is really what you want. It really does sometimes have to give you the right mood. Easily done with that tool. So I've gone through most of the tools, and I'm going to go back to my program page. This is the desktop uploader, and then I got into Google Photos on a computer. This would be a Windows computer or Mac. It works the same way on either Mac or Windows. Nothing is different. You just go to your Gmail account. Again, how did I get there? Went to my Gmail account. If you don't have one, create one. You have to have it. Go to the waffle, I call it, but it's the Google Apps. Find the pinwheel photo, and if you've uploaded some pictures, they will be there. If there's no pictures, you haven't uploaded them yet, so you have to do that. So that's the Google Photos on the using it on a computer. Where this really shines, and there's actually many more features on tablets and phones, Mac and Android. It has a lot more features for editing and such than we do on the computer, strangely enough. So, because this is really meant for people that have take pictures with a smartphone. That's really, that's what most people take pictures with nowadays, is with smartphones. They don't have these things. You don't find any 20-year-old with one of these guys. They carry one of these around, you know, or a teenager. There is an app for iOS, that's the iPhone or the iPad, and if you click on this link, if you have one of those devices, this takes you to the iTunes store, and this is where it's free, this is where you would get it. You do it on your device, but you could do it from here also, just so you know, that's the tool you need if you have an Apple phone, an iPhone, or an iPad, if you will. If you have an Android phone, you know, Samsung, you know, the Galaxy, this is a Google phone, or an Android tablet, which is arguably a lot more of those around than iPhones. Are less expensive typically. This takes you to the store for getting the app for the Android, and it's called Google Photos, and it's on the Google Play Store. If you have one of these phones, you know how to get those apps, but you're looking for Google Photos. You need that app for your phone. Again, it's free, but no charge. So, one of the real things that make this shine for taking photos with one of these things, a tablet or a smartphone, is I'm gonna turn on my camera. Got my camera going here. Take your picture. Everybody smile here if I can get you all in. Even Mark. I've just taken a picture. I just done it. I have the app installed. I happen to be in Wi-Fi here. I covet my data. I don't want to use a lot, so I have my app set to only upload when you're on Wi-Fi. You can, if you have a Verizon plan with unlimited data or a lot of data, you can say, upload the photos when I'm on my, you have a choice in the app to upload even when you're out on your data plan. That way, as you take pictures, they just get backed up right away, up to the cloud. I'm going to look at my Google Photos and click refresh and see. I probably didn't wait a long, yeah, there it is. I'm looking at my computer. I took the picture with this thing. I just took the picture, didn't do anything. Magically, it ends up here. So all the pictures that I take, now when I was walking around in Longwood Gardens, I did not have Wi-Fi. So I took 20 or 50 or 100 pictures. When I walked into my house and it connected to my Wi-Fi, I didn't even know it was happening. It just uploaded them. And if it was 100 pictures, it might have taken 10 minutes or something. But you see, one picture doesn't take very long to get uploaded and brought back and here. I can now open this up, edit it, the same sort of thing we did. I can do the job to it and make a minor change. So what lots of people want to do, and I'm going to put my phone, connect my phone to my computer so you can see what I'm doing on it. Many people, especially folks with iPhones, it turns out that iPhones are sold quite commonly with not very much storage space. Apple is still selling those phones with just 16 gigabytes of storage. Sounds like a lot, but by the time you get a bunch of apps and all the stuff that makes it all happen, you end up with 6 or 8 or 10 gigabytes of storage. And if you take a lot of photos and take some videos, pretty quickly your phone says, I can't do something, I'm out of space. This is a very, very common situation. The real problem is they're out of space, but also, as I mentioned, if you don't do something, the photos are all living just in this little box. And this little box is easily dropped in the toilet, drop it on the street and a car runs over it, it's all gone if you smash this thing. But if you have this photo tool turned on, the photos get constantly uploaded. Maybe it's the end of the day when you get home, but they generally get updated right away to the internet. And you don't have to be concerned about, where are they? And then you can, once you look at Google Photos, and see that the latest photo you've taken appears here, you can safely delete all the photos that are stored on your phone because they're on the cloud. And I have an app that I can see all of those on the phone. And I'm gonna fire this up. I'm gonna watch my time here, Mark. Oh, I better get going. I'm gonna quickly review. I wasn't watching my time so well. I have in this online notes how to turn on the sync. That's what this is called, syncing your photos for Android and for iPhone. All of this stuff is at the help pages that are readily available. And this tells you how to free up storage space. And I'm going to actually connect my phone and show you a few of these things. But at the bottom here, nearly at the bottom of my presentation, are the 3 major links. And these take you to the help pages. And this is the Google Photos help pages. Everything is there. If you go to one of these links, you'll see it's for Android, for phones. This is all this stuff. If you want to do finding things in places on your computer, changing labels, all of the things you want to know about that I couldn't do in an hour, it's all here. And it's really very simple once you kind of get the idea. Let me see if I can get my phone connected to the screen for us here, and I'll show you a few things on the phone. If this doesn't work, I won't do it on the phone, but I think I can. All right. So I'm going to go to the Photos app. I have it on my phone here, the little, you see it, the pinwheel. Depends where you put it. And you see this looks just the same as I had on my computer. I have the list of photos. They're here. So even if I delete this photo that I just took, this one, if I go into my phone and delete it, it's still stored in the cloud. It will not go away. And I'm on my phone, I can look at all these pictures. I don't have to have it stored on the phone.
Suppose you want to delete one that's on the computer.
In Google Photos is Settings, and here is, this is in an Android phone, free up storage space. If you touch that, it does a little quick inventory of your phone. Yeah, and says that I have 105 original photos stored on here, and I can, and they're all backed up. And if I hit delete, it'll delete all those photos from my phone. But they're all backed up. I could go into my device and find them one at a time and delete them, but if your phone has run out of space, this is the quick way. Run this tool, make sure that when you look at your app, you have the latest picture you took. There it is, the one I just took. I deleted that phone. That photo is no longer on this phone. That picture is coming from the Google Cloud. If I want to get the photo, I can click it and do download. There's a way to do that here. Download it, and it's going to bring the photo back onto my phone if I wanted that for some reason. I don't know why I would want to do that, but you could. You can download these photos onto your phone. Let me go back, though.
Excuse me, I was
Yes.
talking about deleting something that's on the computer.
Oh, you mean it's up stored?
Yeah.
Oh, I simply touch the photo. There it is. I choose up here, and it is delete device copy. Boom, and it's gone. So you can right in the app, you can delete the photos, and you can touch one and then another one. I can select 4 or 5 and choose delete. There's actually the trash can. You see it up, if I turn it sideways, it'll make it bigger. You see the trash can. Obviously, I have 4 selected. I hit the trash can. I'm not going to delete these photos. This actually deletes them off of the cloud storage. So I'm not going to do that. I like those photos. On the phone, I can bring up a photo, touch the pencil, go into my tools, and I can crop this just like I did on the computer, and touch the little check box here, the check mark, and then touch save. And I have now cropped that picture. It's got to upload the picture. I edited it on the phone, so it has to put it back in the cloud. Now I have that photo in it's cropped now. And you notice there are two versions of this. This is the original one, and there's the cropped one. I told you it does not destroy the original photo. I just have one more photo stored in my unlimited storage space. I could go back and delete the original if I wanted to, but what do I care? Not a
Well,
problem.
if you were showing it to somebody, you wouldn't want them
I
to see
know I
it
would make
before
an
and after.
album. Here's how I do that. I go and choose this photo and this photo and this photo. You see I'm putting check marks on them. And I'm going to choose the one that I cropped of Talia. And I'm going to get this nice one of the fall tree color. Up here at the top is a plus sign. I touch the plus sign and it says album. It's untitled. I'll call it group. And done, and now I have an album with a name called Tech Group. If I go back on my list of albums, should be here. It's because it's older, the oldest road. Where is that darn thing? Probably have to refresh it, I'm not sure. Look at my collections. Did I not hit save? I thought I did.
Looks like you're on stories.
I did it too quick. I don't think, oh, I am in stories. Here's albums. I'm sorry. Yes, I was in, thank you. There's the newest thing should have been at the top. So I made an album called Tech Group, and this is just those 4 or 5 pictures. And this is what I would share with someone. Make an album, put the good pictures that you want. Leave them all stored there, because who knows, maybe you want to change your mind next year. I've told this story, if you go to a wedding and take a bunch of pictures of the bride and the family, you know, take that picture, the professional photographers always take 10 photos of the same thing. You don't do the same thing. Take 4 or 5 pictures. You come home and you say, oh, this picture is really great. The bride is smiling, the groom looks good. Uncle George over here, you know, he's kind of frowning, or he's scratching his nose, but the bride looks good, so I'm going to keep that one. But on the third picture over here, the bride wasn't smiling very much, but Uncle George was just beaming. But I don't care about that picture. I want to save some space. I want to keep the good one of the bride and groom. And I delete all those pictures. The good picture of Uncle George. 2 weeks later, Uncle George passes away. The best picture you had of him, you deleted. What is there's really no reason to delete pictures, especially when we have unlimited storage. Make the albums that you want to use, put the pictures in them that you want, that's what you're going to look at. But back in your group of photos, all the stuff is here. In other words, I have a whole bunch of photos, I just picked the ones I want to put in
So in
albums.
other words, we don't, I think you told me that iCloud stores everything except your pictures, is that correct?
I'm not too up on Apple, we have to go here in a minute. I'm not too up on Apple, which is an iCloud product. iCloud, though, only gives you for free 5 gigabytes of storage. That's just 2,000 or 3,000 images. It's not really very many. We're not talking about iCloud, we're talking about Google Photos. So you can use iCloud and Google Photos, and there's a whole bunch of other storage, but this is about Google Photos, and I think it's a pretty darn good product, and the price is right. I am going to close this and go back. Again, if I go back to my Google Photos on the computer, and Mark was right, I need to look at albums here. Let this refresh. Here is this tech group album that I created here. It's available to me on the computer also. So I can page through the pictures and whenever. And the nice thing about this, any device you have the pictures. I took the picture here. It's available on my computer. I took the picture with my camera, put the card in and did my thing. It got uploaded to the cloud. They're available on my phone without, all 70,000 pictures are on this phone. They're not really on the phone, but I can get to any of those pictures from my trip back in 2002 to Arches National Park. They're all available on this phone without me doing any pre-planning. My phone's not filled up, it's just in the cloud. So really a really great tool, and I think Mark is gonna start charging us overtime. Again, so you know, PhoenixvilleTG.com. Click on the Programs tab and scroll down to nearly the bottom, Digital Photography. Use Google Photos to manage your pictures. This is where all the notes are that I did tonight, and everything you need to do to get going on this is here. I didn't get to it. If you want to do more exotic editing, my favorite editor is Pixay Pro. Cost $4, $3.99. There are a couple free ones that add all manner of editing, just like you have available on Picasa, red eye adjustment, all those things works on Android phones and iPhones. Lets you do all that editing to the pictures. So there are, and I just picked out 4 or 5 of them. There's hundreds of apps. But the one that I use if I have a picture that has red eye, those little tools we had, the basic ones don't fix that. So this Pixay Pro.
That says it only works for Android. You said
These are Android apps. These same apps. These are the links to Android. If you go to iPhone and tablets have many more photo editing tools available, and these photos can be edited with any of those tools. What we have with Google Photos is a place that stores your pictures, does some of this magic to them, shows them to you. I didn't actually get into the most interesting thing, if Mark will let me have one more minute. If I go to my photos list here and click into the search box, up comes people, places, and things. And if I click on people, here's granddaughter Annabelle. These are every picture that she is in back to way back, she's 12. So if I find this, there's Annabelle when she was getting her bath, when she was 6 months old, or I don't know, 9 months old. And up here at the top, the newest pictures when she was here, and we were at Hershey Park. All pulled together with this tool. If I go and look at the faces, and this faces, since I have all the pictures that I dumped in here, there are hundreds of these. So when I choose this guy, all the pictures of Neil that he appears in are here.
That's
Very, very nice tool. Didn't do anything to make this happen. All done by the robots in the sky.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Come and visit us Monday mornings. We've got a couple more weeks, 9, 10 o'clock upstairs, and we talk about these things. We have the tech guru, so if you got get focusing and you can't figure something out, come Monday morning. We do just a few people there. We do kind of focus on problems. Yes?
When you email your friends a link rather than the actual
Mhm.
pictures, if they like some, can they have the capability of downloading some of your pictures?
Yes.
Through the link?
Stupidly, I must not have sent that. Yes, if you make your photos, you can turn that off, so people cannot download them. I make mine public. Yes, they click on the album and download the entire album, all 100 pictures, or 5 or 50, or whatever it is, or one individual picture. They can download them. And they might want to download them if it's a picture of a grandchild or something, they want to get it printed, they want to put, send it to, take it to CBS and have a print made, then you would need to get the actual file, put it on your thumb drive and go to CBS to get a print made, or do it on your own printer, but yes. If you permitted it, you have to really try hard to turn that off. It's meant to be a shared thing.
If you turn it off, is that done in the settings?
Yeah, it's in privacy. All right. See you next Monday.